Hello, fashion dolls. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? It is Motivation Monday, January 10th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie Daytime. I'm your hostess, Miss Stevie. And today's special guest is a producer, director, and event planner and playwright. Joining me today is Maat Atkins, ladies and gentlemen. Let me send this invite to him so that we can get this interview started. I had a great weekend. I hope you guys had a great weekend. You know, self care Sunday is very, very important over here. Make sure that you guys are taking care of yourself 100%. I sent this live to Maat so that we can get this interview started. Hey, girl. I hope you all are doing wonderful today. Our very special guest is a Emmy award winning playwright, event planner, producer, and director. He won the Regional Emmy Award nominee, Illinois Press Association recipient, and National Who's Who in St. Louis. So I'm super excited for this interview. Let me let him know that I'm on, that I'm live, so that he can come on and join. All right, I'm feeling pretty good today. I hope you guys are as well. It is 4:03. We're waiting on our very special guest so that we can get this interview started. Thank y'all for loving on today's look of the day. I wanted to do something that is very, very, very simple, very elegant, very regal. As you guys can see, I'm just glowing from H to T. It's been an amazing week for me thus far. Oh, Wednesday, I'm going to be on the Geekcaster, and I think I'm the first black trans woman to go on that platform. I haven't really seen any others, so I guess I will be the first. So let's get into it. Shout outs to my amazing co-host Marco. Marco will be back with me this Wednesday, and Reginald James will be joining us. We're going to have a conversation on fashion. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Maat Atkins. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
Hello, hello.
I'm
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yourself? How are you doing?
Busy as always, but I definitely wanted to, make my presence for this interview, and I appreciate your being patient and diligent with me doing this interview.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure to have you here. So, before we get into this interview, how has 2022 been to you thus far? We're now in a new year, and I'm still realming, telling people, like, wow, I can't believe we made it to 2022. So, how's the year starting off and been great for you so far?
Well, every day is a good day when you're 6 feet above ground, So I would say, it's adjusting, adjusting to everything. Of course, with uh, Omicron and Delta and COVID and everything like that, I just got through taking my COVID test, so that's the reason why I'm not really in my element. So I was taking care of my health, so to speak. But yeah, but so far so good. Continuing to make plans of what I need to do to better myself and yeah, and just trying to make things happen.
That's right. I'm glad you said that because I just got through having a conversation. You guys know that I'm on Bigo as well too, and I was telling my viewers over there that health comes first. Especially, we just came back from Sunday. Self care is important, so make sure that you guys are taking care of
Yes,
yourself because you only get one body. Trust.
yes, exactly,
All right.
exactly.
So let's dive into this interview, ladies and gentlemen. So, if I'm not mistaken, you grew up, born and raised in Missouri. Am I correct?
Well, actually, I was born and raised in Illinois, in a town called East St. Louis, which is a few miles away from St. Louis. We're like, it's kind of like uh, Chicago and East Indiana. It's kind of like if you go over the bridge, you're in another state. So um, I've been in Missouri for the past 10 years, but like I said, we're more in a, it's mostly called like a bi-state metropolitan area. So when people are not familiar where I am, I usually just say St. Louis, Missouri, just to have something as a standpoint. Everyone goes, "Oh, the arch." Oh, you stay where the arch is. So yeah. So so yeah. Yeah, I would say born and raised in this city, this town, and as I say, I'm part of the Show Me State. So uh, have people have to prove to us that they are part of us.
Absolutely, 100%. And speaking to prove it to us, some of your work, I've viewed some of your work and, some of your projects, and I'm just like, wow, he has an eye. Like, you've done some photography and things, some event planning, and so many other things. You're not only that, but you're a producer and director. So, my question to you is, where did
Yes.
you pick up this eye, what made you want to get into producing and directing? Because you have such a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Immaculate eye for photography and so many
Oh.
different things. So, what
Oh
made you get
wow.
into
Thank you.
producing and directing?
Huh. Well, I would just say, something that I just wanted to do, something that, uh, as I say, if you don't see what needs to be done, do it yourself. It'll be 22 years this year as far as producing and everything like that. But thank you. I just felt as though my voice needed to be heard. Um, I don't follow the norm when it comes to producing projects. Um, to me, that what makes art interesting, as opposed to following the norm, following the status quo, following trends. Because for me, uh, when you're creating, when you're in that mode of creating, uh, you're not really aware of the outcome until people start giving you feedback. But I would just say I just felt the need to expose my own voice to an environment where, say, like the black male isn't really represented, um, as well as just in general of just using my art, my craft to spotlight different perspectives, different images, different just having just a wide array of expressions coming from a black male point of view. So hopefully I answered your question.
Beautifully, beautifully. You've answered it beautifully, and you covered something that I was actually going to ask you about as a black man, in Hollywood and the entertainment biz. We've seen so much with diversity, and for myself as a woman of color, as a black woman, but for both of us as
Hmm.
African American individuals and content creators, producers, directors, i.e., et cetera, et cetera. We've
Hmm.
seen a rise of so many from Ava DuVernay to Spike Lee to Michael B. Jordan and Regina King, so many others. They're all coming out and producing and creating their own projects. Do you think that this
Yeah.
is definitely the change that we needed for this year alone, and more and more and more to come with more African American producers, directors, writers? And I love the fact that you said also that we want to showcase blackness in a positive light, because we see on television they typecast, and I think Leslie Jones, shout outs to her, she said something about it. They only typecast you for one specific role, whether it's
Hmm.
the inmate or the drug dealer or so many different things. Like we as people of
Hmm.
color is an array of us to have different professions. We're all in different career fields. So what are your thoughts
Right.
on that with the progression with more and more black up and coming? We can't forget Jordan Peele, directors, producers, writers.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I think me personally, you have to create a table for that to happen. There's been many of times, like I said, yeah, you have to create your own platform in order for change to occur. Because
Most
Hollywood, as you pretty much explained, Hollywood puts everyone in the box, not necessarily just black people, but just if you are that, if they can commercialize whatever your quirk is in Hollywood, they want to keep you there and just have you just there until they're finished using you, so to speak, using your worth, so to speak. Um, People like Ava DuVernay, Jordan Peele, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, all of these people have created their own lane, created their own avenues to create content to create this change. So, and I put myself in that category as well. If I want to see something different that I've seen on stage or TV, then I'm going to create it. And if I have enough people uh, who understands the imagination that I'm creating, then I'm a success. You know. So yeah, we have to create our own lens, our own ways of doing things in order for Hollywood to take notice because they're not going to change. They're always going to be is always going to be they're going to do this type of movie, this type of imagery, you know, because they're about making money. Whatever made money in the past, they're going to continue doing that until the wheels fall off. So it takes independent producers uh, who have clout, definitely have clout, or have a fan base. And these days with social media, if you have, X amount of followers, there's your audience right there. So only thing that's needed is to create content that captures the imagination of people who want to see what you're doing. So
I love that. And my co-host Marco, shout outs to him. Check out his podcast. This is Hear Me Out. He says, just like documentaries of Black lives, they make so much money off of our lives. Absolutely. And speaking of
hmm
icons and vets and pioneers, producers, actors, writers, we just not too long ago lost Sidney Poitier, who had
hmm
such an I can't describe it. His work was just it was phenomenal. He had a phenomenal.
galvanizing,
Yes. What were your thoughts
galvanizing.
on the passing on the late Sidney Poitier?
Job well done. Um, he bowed out gracefully.
Yes.
Um, he accomplished what he needed to accomplish. And to me, his body of work will stand the test of time of being a trailblazer, especially at a time where African American images were not uh, the norm, were not seen in a positive light. They were basically used as accessories for white America in film. And he came at a time as black as he was, as dark skinned as he was, with an accent. He stood out already, but it was his talent. His talent transcended his color, his talent, and as you see, people from far and wide, all ethnicities, who bow down, who have bowed down and tributed him of his importance uh, in the world. So, but yeah, job well done. I wasn't sad because he lived 94 years,
Yes.
and when you get to that age, it's more just, borrowed time and of us to reflect and see what he did in his career and what we can use from it to move ourselves as artists, as Black people, move ourselves in our culture, move forward.
For yourself as a legendary, iconic writer, producer, what do you think? What are your
I
thoughts
don't know
on
if I'm iconic
Yeah,
yet.
you are. You have a very immaculate eye. So I say icon. It is definitely icon status. So
Okay,
hashtag it.
thank you.
So what are
I
your thoughts
appreciate it.
on the next generation of writers, producers, the up and coming, next generation of Black writers, Black producers like the Ryan Cooglers and the Michael B. Jordans of the world? What are your thoughts on, the
Hmm.
next generation?
Hmm. The sky's the limit. Uh, I mean, I kind of put myself in that category. Um, the sky's the limit these days because there's so many platforms now where you don't have to knock on Hollywood's door. I mean, you have all these streaming services, you have outlets like YouTube and Vimeo, and there's just so many areas for expression that you can change things without having to do what you had to do back in the day in order to become successful, so to speak. As I alluded to earlier, if you have a huge social media base
Yes,
and a lot of talent agencies, that's what they're looking for these days. They go, well, how many followers do you have on Instagram or Facebook, whatever? Because they want to know up front if you're an investment, if you're an investment of them representing talent. And if they see if you have 1 million followers, well, they already know. Well, if this person is booked, then they're going to have a follower, a fan base already that they're going to be making money. Because again, the bottom line is making money. We live in America, where capitalism is all about uh, making money, investing in a product, making money from it, and continuing to make money from that from that particular model. Until something shifts and changes, which is where the independent producers and things like that comes in to shift things, because everything doesn't stay the same in general. Nothing stays the same, and even from, say, like for instance, with Sidney Poitier back in his day till now, and all the shifts and things, cultural shifts in Hollywood, uh, and it occurred from someone going, okay, let me change the game here and create something that isn't there. And when it's successful, then Hollywood follows. So, so
absolutely.
yeah.
And speaking of creatives and, building up, tell us a little bit about your production company, Maatology.
Mhm. Well, um, mythology comes from my moniker, Maat. A poet friend of mine, when I was heavy into poetry, monikered me Maat. And those who understand the principles of Ma'at, it's all about truth, justice, wisdom, balance. And in 1999, I decided to create a company with that moniker and just put ology on it, the study of, truth, justice, wisdom um, um, in art, being honest in art. My slogan is to write the truth, RIGHT, to write the truth. Um, so I came up with that name because it represents me as a person. You know, I try to be truthful, try to be honest as a person, of course, as well as my work. And people who I've been, very honored of working with had the same vision, taking chances and not being afraid to go there when it comes to expression. Because when people see that you're not afraid, that you're just unapologetically you, people respect that. And they may not agree with whatever that you put on stage or on screen or wherever. You made an impression, you make an impression on them to make them go, well, huh, that was different. That made me start, that to create conversation, creating conversation about art, because people are more attracted to seeing things on TV or stage or painting than they would and just having a conversation with someone. Art is supposed to change the way people think, the way people feel, the way people adapt to their everyday lives. And that was my purpose of creating Metallage Productions, to try to change things when it comes to that.
Absolutely. And it says that you've written, directed, managed, produced so many theater stage plays. And my next question for you is, before we get to the games, Fashion Dolls, because you know we got to get to our rapid five and then turn the tables. Um, what is the difference between producing theater stage plays and doing it on national television? Like, it's a completely different arena. And I've interviewed so many actors that have done
Hmm.
Broadway and theater and so many different things. And they said, oh, well, when you're in the moment, you're in that moment. It is live, like everybody's
Hmm.
watching. And then if it's like, if you're taping a television show, it's completely different. Once they capture it, it goes viral. So it's a
Hmm.
completely big difference. So what are your thoughts?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, most of my experience has mostly been with theater. I mean, I've been on film sets, and you pretty much answered the question as far as uh, the time of when it goes from the talent to the audience. Um, but as far as both genres, I would say there are differences, but the outcome is the same. Whatever that output is, however soon or late that someone will see it, if it changes a person's mood or changes a person's perspective of whatever the message was in whatever that they saw, to me it all boils down to, does this does this piece of work does this piece of work does this piece of work say anything about us as a society? And when I say us, that means just people in general. Um, will this piece of work have the same effect from if someone from Brazil sees it, someone from Germany, or someone from Chicago? Will they have the same feelings of will it be across the board pretty much the same um, um, expression of whatever that they're feeling at the time? because Maya Angelou, I believe, said that they may not remember what you said, of what they seen or remember anything like that, but they do remember what they felt. They do remember what they felt with whatever that uh, piece of life that they've seen on stage or TV or whatever, or a person that they admire. Um, if it gives you that feeling, that the feeling that it's supposed to have, then the job is done, and it's given out to the world. Whatever it is, theater, TV, film, is out into the world. When an artist creates, it goes out into the world, and now it's the world's art.
I agree 100%. Beautifully put. All right, fashion dolls, it is time for the games, the rapid five. And Maat has to tell us five things that he can't live without. And then in the next segment, we're going to do is called Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me questions, uncensored and unfiltered. It's called Turn the Tables. So I'm nervous. I don't know what he's going to ask me, but I just beat it very, very fast. But we're going to start with five things you can't live without.
Hmm. My talent. Hmm. Peanut butter. um, hmm. Air. Money. Friendship.
Mm, good choices. Good
Well,
choices
the
and a
peanut
great
butter is,
thing.
I'm craving peanut butter right now. So,
That's good.
uh,
All right, fashion dolls. That is his rapid five, and it is time to turn those tables. So now he has to tell me, well, I'm gonna pass him the microphone and he gets to ask me some questions, uncensored and unfiltered. So
yeah.
I
Okay. Well, I'm also a journalist as well. Interviewed various people, so this is right my arena. So, um, I guess my question to you is, you're a very interesting person. I didn't really know what to expect. I'm very open when it comes to the LGBT community. I consider myself an ally. Um, what are your thoughts now that we're in a world where transphobia is prevalent, uh, along with the other phobias, but
yes.
transphobia is one of those subjects where people still have yet to understand that community. With you being part of that community, what is your hopes of, as far as your platform of making, being part of the trans community, uh, part of any other community that exists in the world?
Well, my purpose would be to educate people, to bring awareness, because without love, leadership, without understanding, without sitting like how we're doing now, having a conversation, people will not understand. There will always be that stigma. I was reading today in a magazine, a health magazine. They were talking about stigma and how dangerous it is if we don't sit down and take the time to have conversations like these, civilized, without having to name call or be mean or spiteful or hateful. People will not
Hmm.
understand. But this is how you do it. So this is why I created my platform, so that people, can have an open mind and get an understanding of us, then rather than just developing their own misconceptions, because there's so much misconceptions and so much stigma surrounding my community, the LGBTQ community. And we just want people to know that we're human too. You're human, we're human, we're all people at the end of the day. And we're just trying to
Right,
make a living for ourselves. We're just trying to exist. We're not trying to do anything else.
right, right, right. Okay. Was it? Can I ask another, or was that
You
it?
get as many as you want.
Okay. Um, are you on the East Coast? Are you in the New York area?
I'm in South Carolina, and it's funny you mentioned New York because I have family all throughout New York. I mean, Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Okay. 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 I was wondering because I know uh you had put that this interview was Eastern time,
Yeah.
and for some reason I was thinking of New York, and especially the incident that just occurred in the Bronx with the space fire and apartment building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, ugh, but and it's snow out there. That's why I was kind of going like, is there snow out there? But yeah, okay, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Like I was very just like I said, I didn't really know what to expect. I have worked with people in the trans community. Uh, a lot of people who are non-binary, and learning what people's pronouns are. I had to get used to,
Yes.
I consider myself, he, his, or
Yes.
she, her, or they, them, or, So that's a world that, uh, relatively new for me. But, with me being in the trenches of being an artist, and understanding change, social change, um, that's the only way for me as well as any other people to understand that you may not be of the community, but we all go through the same things. You know, as you said, I'm trying to make a living, making a living, getting up in the morning and thinking of whatever whoever your creator is,
Hmm.
being content creators. Um, you know, we all share the same emotions and feelings. It just so happens whatever our exterior is what, you know, that's what you know, society looks at. But inside, inside of that, we all are human, and and it all starts with dialogue.
Absolutely, 100%. And this is what we need. Conversation, understanding, love, and patience is all.
Yes, yeah, because I had a friend of mine who's who he had said that he wants to work with a lot of the LGBT community. He said, yeah, I really appreciate them as a race. I was like, huh? I was like, a race? I was like, wait a minute, they're not aliens, you know. So I had to, uh, educate him that, it's a community, it's not a race,
Yes.
you know. So things like that, you have to, check people. You got to check them like, no, that's incorrect. This is the way you're supposed to address, especially if you're trying to do business with the LGBT community. You cannot offend because, the LGBT community have rights that are written in law, as well as they have lobbyists in Washington D.C.
Hmm.
where they can immediately say, well, you know, well, this particular person uh, definitely is not, part of, the human struggle, you know. So so yeah.
Definitely, 100%. All right, fashion dolls.
All righty.
That
So I guess
concludes.
that's that, huh?
Yes, that concludes the turn the table segment. Is there anything that you would like to leave, any encouraging words? Because this interview, your energy is just so relaxing. It's positive. It's just
Thank you.
amazing. You are amazing. And
Thank you.
again, I keep telling you, your view and your eye and your vision is just so immaculate. So, is there any
Thank you.
encouraging words of wisdom that you would like to
Yeah.
leave to the next generation of upcoming producers, directors?
Yeah. Well, I would just say in this year 2022 and beyond, I think it's important that we all try to do the best that we can with what we can, continue to dream, always continue to dream, stay away from dream killers, um, learn something that you don't know about, whatever that is, learn a craft or learn a culture. Um, this pandemic is going to be here for a while, so us as content creators, still create. As long as you have your mind to create, whatever the circumstances is outside of that, uh, try to stay happy. Try to be happy. Find your own find your own way of what happiness is for you as a person. And that's it.
Beautifully put. Let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can check out your projects, company.
Yeah. Well, they can follow me on Facebook, Marcus Maat Atkins. They can follow me on Instagram at maatspear. I also have a blog that they can check me out. Just Google my name, Marcus Maat Atkins, and you'll see some of everything that you need to see. I'm also on Twitter with maatspear as well. Um, I'm looking for, budding talent for my upcoming projects that I'm doing this year um, in Atlanta as well as in Los Angeles. So those who are very open-minded and willing to push the envelope, uh, contact me, or if anyone contacts you, Miss Stevie, let them know that I'm open of seeing what they have as far as their talent is concerned.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Atkins, make sure you guys follow and support Black content creators, producers, directors. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all think y'all have what it takes to become a supermodel? Well, we have Tina B. ATL. She is going to be here tomorrow to discuss her modeling company, Black owned modeling company, and so much more. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you all for tuning into this exclusive interview with Atkins, writer, director, producer. Thank you so much for your time. It was such a great interview.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the interview. Thanks as always.
You too. Take care.